Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. It's nice to see you this Tuesday morning. Hopefully you guys all survived Labor Day weekend. Now we're off to a great start to a new week. Nice to meet you, Flo. Well, good morning. Good morning. Oops, I gotta go back here and get that out of there because then if I don't do that, then when I go back over there, it's gonna do that. Well, good morning. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. So I kind of got a little tea. I got a little tea, Mr. Mike Hestrin, DA Mike Hestrin, and our good old boy, Chad Bianco. You know, shame on social media. Shame, shame, shame. Shame, shame, shame. Shame, 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 shame. Social media. Oh my gosh, you know, shame on California for letting the monster out. Shame on California for letting the monster out. Can't believe they're not tough on crime. I'll almost spill it. You know me. We got some things to go over. We're going to go over the stuff that I'm going to force feed down your throat first. Before we get into the tea. Guys, I'm Bull Betty. We're covering true crime We're covering the case of baby Emmanuel Haro, and we have some problems in the case. We had a press conference where DA Mike Hestrin was shaming, the state of California for putting this animal out on the street. But was it really the state of California that did it, Mike? You had no say in any of that, right? Shame, 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 old state of California, not being tough on crime. I think it's something that happens, throughout the state of California. And I just don't think politicians can quite handle dealing with the repercussions that sometimes they've created for themselves. But we're not going to get in there just yet. You know me. Can't do that. We can't do that just yet. I got to force feed some stuff down your throat first. And this is the stuff you guys don't want to hear. This is stuff you guys don't want to hear. I'll tell you that. But we're going to hear it anyways, because you guys have been hearing me screaming bloody murder for a very, very, very long time, right? Bullhorn Betty, I told you all, I knew it. We're not a political channel. I'm a political person. This is a true crime channel. But every now and again, I give a dose of reality up here in the chat about the real world out there abroad, right? Some people believe it. Some people don't believe it. But at the end of the day, I've been telling you, these fools have been laundering money from the American people for a long time. Our government. They've been putting all these packages into things like transgender care for Pakistan, okay? Let me tell you about Pakistan. You transgender in Pakistan, you a dead Pakistanian, okay? They don't play like that. So these types of initiatives going on in different countries, we know is bullshit, okay? That's why I knew that they've been laundering our money. Well, just to let you guys know, we're finding out that there is a paper trail, that money that I was talking about, that our politicians have been taking and stealing from the American people. Well, guess what? This is what it is reported. Representative Tim, Burchett, says he thinks there's a paper trail. I can tell you there's a paper trail, because we talked about the paper trail many years ago. How many times have you guys heard me pop off at the mouth and say our government is stealing from us, okay? Don't be fruity in Pakistan. I'm telling you, everybody knows that. There's just certain countries, you don't get away with that crap. And when you're hearing this stuff putting in bills, we're all scratching our heads saying, huh? There is no, whatever these people are fighting for in America, you don't get those opportunities in other countries, okay? Let me just break it down for you. And so they're saying that this money that was sent overseas is now winding up back in the pockets of some lawmakers in D.C. Any further, now I put this out here. When did I put this out here? This was a few days ago, wasn't it? Like August, this is August 27th. So I had to do it that day, I would presume, but I don't see the bottom of it. But either way, we'll get down to it. He says that he kind of expects a lot of lawmakers' retirements coming. He foresaw this. He had a crystal ball. Now, this is on the 27th. Now, mind you, this is only 5 days ago, okay? We're not talking about, mine was just a theory, and, I provided that theory to my audience that I thought they're robbing the American people blind. I knew they were, because there's no way that people go in with owing $25,000 and then in 4 years amass $30 million, okay? That's people going into our country, not doing the will of the people, but going in there for a specific purpose to get rich off the American people, and I'm done with it. So, lo and behold, my arch nemesis of all people, arch nemesis of all people, I don't know if anybody else is in it. Like I said, I'm force feeding it down your throat. You guys can hate me later, but we'll get into the dirt. But I just found out this morning that Democrat representative Jerry Nadler, or Nadler, whichever one, I call him Nadler. I don't know what his proper pronunciation is, but I thought it was awfully funny that 5 days later already somebody that has medical issues. I'm resetting my internet. It went red on me. It's still red on me, so it looks like I'm going to have to call Verizon and find out what the hell's going on with my my internet here, but I don't know if we'll be able. Oh shit. Of course, everything's running behind the scenes because I didn't have my microphones, my earplugs in. It's nice to see everybody. Yes, I'm back. When the system goes down, just stick around because I just got to get it up. I don't know what happened this morning. All I know is that I'm running off my phone right now. Okay, so I don't know how pixely this is going to be. I don't know how much my lag is going to be. But I am running off my phone this morning because in the middle of our live, my internet just went out. So I don't know what's going on with the internet. But anyways, we're getting on through. I just wanted to tell you about Nadler. And then I also wanted to show you guys the Great Escape. But again, I might be having a little bit, that sounds good at least. Okay, great. So I wanted you guys to see the Great Escape. And again, I don't know what's going on. As a matter of fact, I need to find out. Let me go. We'll watch this, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my my ticket in for internet service. Like, this is getting old. There's nothing outside. I don't understand why we have some internet issues going on. So here we go. It does have some volume on it. Let me see if I can get the volume to work. I don't know why it mutes all these volumes. Thank God. The dog thinks he's in Paul Shank Redemption.
Hi, Tubbs. No.
He's like, oh shit, busted. Sorry, there's just some things I can't help. Okay, so we got a little bit of satire this morning. This next one's going to be a good one too, okay? So we all had a great Labor's Day, right? How many of you guys had an amazing Labor's Day? If you guys had an amazing Labor Day, raise your hand. Because you guys, I'm just saying, how many of you guys had snacks? Did you guys give your guests some snacks like potato chips? Did you guys give yourselves some snacks like potato chips? What? Were you missing your potato chips? Did you not find any in the store when you were out there trying to look for them? I don't know, but it looks like the Lay's van took a detour somewhere. This happened on Labor's Day. I just wanted to let you know that the guy's fine. I don't know how he managed to tumble and flip the truck all the way down 150 feet down an embankment, but he did. They said no snacks for you. No snacks for you. Apparently, the fish were craving some Lay's potato chips, and so Lay's felt so gracious in wanting to buy and supply the local food the local fish some potato chips. That's all I'm saying, okay? They just never fail. When you need to have a Lay's, that original Lay's, you know, they want to make sure you get it. Even the fishies needed their stuff. Now, all the stuff set aside, we're going to be going over here. Hopefully my U2, are we still working? Let me make sure we're still working here. All right, it looks like we are. Can we get let's make sure, try to find something that wouldn't open and, you know, but okay. It looks like we're doing good, okay? It looks like we're doing good. I just need to make sure that the internet's working because now I'm starting to worry. I'm running off the damn phone. I'm running off Verizon 5G right now instead of home. I can hear, but it doesn't, pick doesn't match. Oh, man, that sucks. Yeah, we're having some lagging issues because I'm running off this. Let me see what I got going on here. We're still red, y'all. I don't know what the hell happened. All right, let me call tech support. You guys are just going to have to sit with me because I can't deal with all of this. I don't have time for freaking internet problems. Oh, this is Fios. Yeah. Hold on, guys. I'm going to mute you. I'm being connected now. We should be. It looks like our connection is now excellent. So we'll see if that changes or not. All right. Well, we have another winner chicken dinner for customer service. So Fios doesn't have customer service on the phone. So I got to go through their fucking app to get service. That's some bullshit. I'm getting sick of this crap. You guys all need to be bitching. When you got to go to a fucking app, excuse my language, I'm dealing with a live show right now. I have no internet in the office for no reason of my own. And I can't get somebody on the frickin' phone? These fucking people. I don't even know what fucking email I use. All right, well, we're out of internet, guys, and I'm sorry for cussing, but there's nothing that gets me riled up than some bullshit like this. Here I am having to get my sign in. It better be my normal sign in because I'm going to be pissed. This is on my hate list right now. I should not have. I called a number. I should be able to get a hold even of an automated service that can help me through the process. But no, go to the app because everything in the app's going to make you feel so much better. These freaking companies. And you know what? We put up with this shit. This is irritating. When did we stop? When did we say it's okay to treat us like crap when we're spending god-awful money with a company? Can somebody ask me that? Email doesn't match. Well, what in the... It's a pain. It's a pain. Now I got to figure out what email I use. Do I use did I use my personal email or my business email? You know? Because my personal email, I don't even think I've been in the last freaking 10 years. This is bull. I'm sorry. This is just crazy. Thank you for such a great app. Let me guess, it's not working because I don't have internet? Interesting. Oh, we can chat about upgrades. Oh, really? We can chat about upgrades. Maybe just get my internet working. And it says no outages detected in my area. All right, let me go check my system. Funny, it's back up. Okay, we're going to get back to regular show production. Guys, I'm going to tell you guys, fun morning until that point. I will be calling to make sure there is nobody, doing funny business because I just don't trust people anymore. And quite frankly, I just about and over it. We talk a lot about family annihilators on this channel. A lot about it. And most of the time, the family annihilators are men. We went through Anthony Tott right here in Orlando, Florida. Then we had Alec Murdaugh, which is another person that I deemed as a family annihilator. All of these people, all of the family annihilators, like I said previously, all had, something in common. The thing that they typically had in common was the fact that they had some type of financial crime that their family did not know about. So basically, they were propping up their families on ill-gotten funds. And then their employer or whoever, whether it be law enforcement, one of your children wreck a boat, get you in a financial quagmire where your house of cards is ready to topple over, like in the Alex Murdaugh case. And so we just found out that there was a New Hampshire woman. Her and her family look, normal, average American family, right? Normal, average American family. She has now been added to the list of family annihilators. She took out her husband, which was struggling with brain cancer, and two of her older children. She had a baby child. That baby child, the toddler, was left unharmed. Okay, so there is some good to this. But at the end of the day, she's still a family annihilator, and she stole over $660,000 from her employer. 5 days prior to that, her employer insisted that she come down to the bank and provide her bank statements. She didn't go down to the bank, but she did apply or provide her employer her bank statements, but the bank statements were altered. And so the boss went down. This was the second in charge of her business. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is not the family annihilator conversation. We're talking about a mind-blowing $660,000 that this woman stole from her employer. And after she went and basically annihilated her entire family with the exception of the toddler, that employer is not seeking any funds. She's not, he or she is not trying to recoup any funds in light of this. She knew the family very well. This was hard. She didn't even want to believe it. She worked next to this person for over a decade, whatever the case may be. But what a sad story. This is out of New Hampshire. This was just breaking yesterday. And I think that it's the silver lining of this story that I appreciate the most. And the silver lining of this story is, this employer that lost earth-shattering amounts of money has forgiven all of that so that their only remaining child can have an opportunity at a decent life. And that is the only reason why this employer did that. I'm pretty sure that she was going after the wife. She was going after, they went to the police. This lady was going to go down. Her husband was going to be left without somebody to care for him. And she had 3 kids. These are the things that kind of promote those family annihilator situations. So thought I would go over that. This one you guys may have heard about. I'm not going to go over it briefly. I'm going to get over to the updates related to Emmanuel, since we're already having such a horrible time this morning on our show with the internet and what have you. So what we have here is, I don't know if you read this, but a mother intentionally tried to unalive her baby by leaving her child in a hot car to cook. It's my understanding the baby has lost its life. I'm not going to show you the person's face. I'm not going to give you any more information than what I'm showing you right now. But this is becoming a real problem that needs to be addressed. I don't know if it's mental illness. I don't know what it is. But we're in a society where we can literally drop off a baby anywhere. There's no need to hurt a child. And we have to think about this, because that means the people that are hurting these children are making the conscious effort to hurt these children. They know what they're doing. They know they have a way out, and they just don't care. How anybody can hurt a child is beyond me, but typically it has something to do with who they choose to have that child with. Most of the time, in many cases, these people choose to abuse their child because it reminds them of their father, because they act this way, they look this way. That is typically the reason why. So if you're having babies with men you shouldn't be having babies with, then give that child up for adoption, okay? In today's society, it's not, you don't get ostracized for that anymore, even though I think people should, But, how many babies have had to go with abuse and everything else because the parents were ostracized and people didn't want to do that. So they made it easy to get rid of children, right? They made it as easy as walking to a bin, putting your baby in it, and shutting the door, turning around and walking away from your child. Okay? They make it that easy. And still, even making it that easy, we still have cases like this over and over and over again. So if you're asking me if these things are helping, you know what? I'm not sure if they are, because we're seeing consistently babies being hurt by their families, We hear very rarely about babies being dropped at these bins to save these babies' life to parents that don't want children. I mean, we do hear about them here and there, but I guarantee we hear more about children winding up in dumpsters than we do winding up at the hospitals or the fire departments. So are we really making a difference, making it that easy, and making people realize that their children are just inanimate objects that can just be shoveled off into a drawer or into a garbage can? Sometimes I think things that we choose to do to try to make things easier absolutely enable a situation to get worse. And it's hard to make society understand that, because they're just in their brains saying, but if we just made it a little bit easier for them, they wouldn't do this, because the person saying that statement is a good person. And they think that they're talking about reasonable people out here in the United States. Well, we're not talking about reasonable people. We're talking about idiots and insanity. You're not curing that with kindness, folks. I don't know how I can drill that into your head. You're not killing that with kindness. All you're doing is being a pushover and enabling a situation. But I digress. Lily and Jack Sullivan disappeared on May 2nd. This is a bizarre case. I don't know any other way to describe Lily and Jack's case other than bizarre. Okay? These children literally evaporated. Everybody is saying that they said that the parents were truthful. That's not what I read. Okay? When I read that report, the only person that appeared to be 100% truthful was Cody. And that's because I know from my time from working in politics, every word matters. Okay? Every word matters. When they send out a press release, that press release is just not drafted, okay? They don't send it to a secretary and say, hey, can you throw something out and just say blah, 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 this, right? No. They go through it. They have people look at it. They rewrite it. They reword it. They make sure that they tone it down and make it as accurate as possible while toning any type of stuff down. So if you read how they express that Daniel and Malaya were truthful, and you compare that to the way that they expressed how Cody was truthful, you've got several different truthfuls here. For example, they say for Malaya that she was mostly truthful when answering specific questions, which I still never understood that sentence, because any polygraph test should be very specific. If they're not specific, you're going to have a bad test. So that really, for me, starts putting up red flags for the polygraph examiner. Like, what do you mean mostly truthful with specific questions? They should all be very, very specific. When you're doing a polygraph test, you cannot commingle things. It needs to be straight, single questions. Is your name Malaya Brooks Murray? Are you XYZ age? Were you born here? Did you murder your children? Did you have somebody, do you know where your children are? Those are specific questions. You can't say something like, do you know that your children might be in Nova Scotia? Or do you believe they're in land? That's why they don't have open-ended questions. So when they sit there and say she's truthful when answering specific questions, that's now making me sit there and say, well, what kind of polygraph examination are you giving her? Because she's only to answer specific questions. And see, what really frustrates me is it makes me wonder if they ask them, do you know where Lily and Jack are? You can't ask questions like that. And a seasoned polygraph examiner, knowing that the situation, they would have split that apart. Do you know where Lily is? Do you know where Jack is? Did you murder Lily? Did you murder Jack? So I'm very, I don't like the wording, but you know what? Remember yesterday when I read that comment that I posted on X, remember I said the sheriff has shit on the father. I meant had poo-pooed on the father, had crapped on the father. Is this one of those things where they were implying one thing, but it was read a different way? There is the possibility to that. You know, I'm not opposed to that, but I wanted to clarify that because that's my position, that's my opinion of how this is. But everybody is kind of saying that the parents have passed the polygraph test, which could very well be true. I'm just reading it. Why did they say this person? Why did they say Cody was truthful? But they put extra words with the truthfulness of Malaya or Daniel. Those are things that I focus on because when we're in lack of information, the only thing I can rely on is law enforcement's behavior. So I follow law enforcement. I follow their behavior. I find out what their I try to find out what the policies and procedures are, and based upon their actions I can kind of gauge where they are in stuff. But in this particular case, it's so convoluted because you have children that typically two siblings missing at the same time, which usually does not happen. It's not the first time we've heard it happen, but it's a very low on the totem pole of things that do happen. Very unlikely for two children to disappear at the same time. Now, even if they did run off, they should have been found. There was days and days of searching. They went back. They never really stopped searching. They kept target searching and everything like that for like a month here and there and everywhere. There's, in my opinion, evidence of staging, but it wasn't written that way. They did describe the blanket being down, but the polygraph test and this new revelation of somebody seeing kids walking down the road, but that didn't even come in until almost 30 days later. I feel like part of it's a setup and staged, and the only people that would go out of their way, in my opinion, to stage something like this is either the parents or somebody that was stalking the family that wanted to take the children. And, there is some semblance of a possible abduction with some of the new information. They did not find the children. They haven't found the children. The children, they thought they were deceased. The children were would be above ground. They would have found the children by now. Even if the children went into the water, they would have found the children by now. They would have found the children by week 2. Typically by week 2, we've already talked about biology, you will be floating to the top of the surface if you sank. It could be sooner than that, but the latest that I've seen so far is about 14 days. So we're past that 14 day, no children are surfacing to the top of the waters. So all of this is really sus. The footprint on their property, right where Malaya was standing with the baby, but her footprints weren't there. I just got a lot of ish with this. This doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't feel right. I don't really care about the polygraphs. They're inadmissible. We know these people are drug addicts, allegedly, at least at minimum. We know that there's substances in the house. We know that there's abuse in the house. There's control in the house. This is all DV related, and for me to be misguided because of a report that came from the RCMP, maybe that report came from the RMCP to relax some people. Just my personal viewpoints, because this stinks to high heaven. And, I hope the kids are alive, and I hope that maybe this was a familial type of thing. But what we were describing is I don't see two kids running up to a car holding hands with one another and getting into a car willingly with just some stranger. I just don't see it. And for them to be pushing that all up front, Daniel and Malaya pushing that all up front. And then 30 days later, like, you can't tell me the people in Nova Scotia, Lansdowne, even New Glasgow, or even the surrounding areas didn't know these children were missing. Anybody that was on that stretch of roadway, well, in my opinion, would have came by a lot sooner than 30 some days later. And how does she know that it was specifically on the 2nd? How does she remember it wasn't on the 3rd or the 4th? Being that much time. I mean, I can't even remember what I did yesterday. I know I made steak. I don't remember what time it was. What time did I get out of bed? What time did I go out and play ball with Delilah? How many times did I play ball with Delilah yesterday? I don't remember. What about the day before? I don't remember. There was 2 days that I didn't go out because it was raining. Delilah didn't go out and play because it was raining. Which days were them? I don't know unless I look. So how is somebody going to remember 30 days later that on May 2nd, and they said like 9 to 10 a.m. Not that I'm saying that their statements are wrong. I'm just questioning why it took so long. That's it. Why it took so long. Sadly, in my opinion, I don't think those kids are with us anymore. I don't either, Peggy. I don't either. I think it's a red herring. But, it's kind of hard because I always, when I make mistakes in cases, I always try to drill it in my head what I made a mistake about. And the recent mistake I made, and you guys didn't know it because I hadn't really covered the case. It was assessments that I made behind the scenes. And it was with Giovanni Pelletier. It was the boy that came from North Carolina with his family, was meeting some of his father's family, and winds up in one of our retention ponds here in Manatee County, several days later in bad condition, and he's deceased. I didn't go out and search for him because I truly did not believe he was here. I thought he was in MIMS. Everything that I was researching would say that he would have been in MIMS, Florida, and come to find, but I didn't have, I didn't have a lot of information. But still, even my initial assessments are pretty good at the beginning. So I missed something critical, and at the end of the day, it was 20 minutes away from me. Certainly, I could have gotten my ass up and just went out there and looked. Period. But I was stubborn, and I knew that he would have been in MIMS, and quite frankly, just thought it was a full waste of time, and I feel personally bad for that decision. And I don't want to make that, I don't want to make mistakes like that again. But here, did we analyze this wrong? Are we making a mistake? Does this person have relevance? Is this really, truly potentially Jack and Lily? The ages are wrong, but the descriptions could be fairly accurate. So I'm looking at it. Yeah, history of CPS, drug use, last to see the kids. Absolutely, YouTuber. I'm there with you. You guys know me. I didn't mince my words. I don't like the parents. There's something wrong with the parents. Obviously, Malaya knew something was up when she fled the area literally the next day, never came back, and, blocked Daniel. She wanted nothing to do with Daniel after that. A mother that doesn't think that a man's done something to her children doesn't act like that, in my opinion. I'm sorry, they just don't. The black eyes on the babies, we're looking at Rebecca Haro. We're about to go into the damning information, which I think you guys all heard it, and I just didn't realize you guys heard it because it was running in the background while this was up, while I was dealing with all kinds of stuff. And we're moving over to Emmanuel Haro here in just a second. But Matt, I want you guys to hear. I haven't played Matt on the channel. If you guys don't know Matt, I like Matt. Matt is I've never met him personally, but I've had conversations with him through chats and whatnot. Just a real down to earth kid. And I shouldn't call him a kid. He's a young man, but I'm older, so I call anybody younger kids. Okay, kids are children, and I've got to change that. It's my way of speaking. I don't mean to be disrespectful or rude. I know he's an adult. He's just a lot younger than old Bullhorn Betty. That's all. But I like him, and I like how he breaks down the news. I like how he breaks down these cases. I really get a lot of insight on it. And not only that, but there's a lot of stuff that he gets a hold of before I get a hold of it, because I'm always, I'm researching other stuff. I do other stuff other than true crime, as you guys pretty much know. And so the true crime stuff, I'm not adjust this at all. adjust it all? There we go. There we go. I'm just getting sick and tired of it cutting it off. So let me just adjust this. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Looks a little better. Now we can actually see everybody's print if we keep it on the 2 lines. It was cutting off the last line. It was driving me nuts, So here's Matt. Here's his kind of explanation of things. You know, I do believe that they were truthful about some stuff, but I do believe they were lying about some stuff. But we know substances and alcohol alter these tests. And with their history of drugs, did they ask for a drug test before they did this test? You know, I'd like to know. I'm sorry, but how do I explain this? The tests themselves are already inadmissible, right? So we already don't trust them clearly, and we want them to be as accurate as possible. I believe in them. I do believe they do provide some changes. Obviously, they're faulty, and that's why they can't be in court. But it doesn't mean that they're inaccurate all the time. It just means that they can be inaccurate and therefore can't be weighted. Me and Matt is probably around the same age. Aw, that's great. Who's that? Is that Justice for Baby Emmanuel? I was thinking you were Riv, but I think Riv has a different photo on her. But if you were Riv, it's nice to see you. Our baby sister, Riv. Matt looks like he's around 20-something. Yeah. I figured that. That's what I thought. All right, let's get to Matt. Shut up, Betty.
There's been some new documents that have dropped in the Lily and Jack Sullivan case, and while we did get a lot of information that indicates how much effort has been put into finding Lily and Jack by the RCMP, there was also a lot of stuff that was redacted. In addition to administering polygraph tests to all of the children's immediate family members, which they all reportedly passed, they also did check electronic communication. They also looked at their search histories, their GPS coordinates on their phones.
They did search a lot of stuff, guys, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to jump ahead, and I don't think it's in this with Daniel, but I'm reading, and I'm talking to, or not talking to, but I'm following one of these Canadian, I think it was on TikTok. It might have been on Instagram. I can't remember. Janie didn't take a test. Oh, I know, because they said that she couldn't. Her physiology, you know, the medication she's on would not. She would have been inconclusive. They could not test her. She's not a good candidate for testing, and it's probably because of some of the medication that she takes for her heart, blood pressure, or God knows what else. If something slows you down, and some of that heart medication, it kind of makes you drowsy and stuff. You're not a good candidate for this type of stuff, and they can't tell you not to take your heart medicine. You know what I'm saying? So it does. I'm not completely sus about that. I hope that they can find some other. I don't trust her. I don't believe her. I think what she says happened that morning didn't happen the way she's saying it happened. I just don't believe it. I really don't. But what was I getting back? Oh, they said that because they're putting this report out, they don't believe they're going to hold that anybody's going to be arrested for anything related to this case. I think this case is pretty much wrapping up, and they never found the kids. And I think that they're not going to. I mean, they're going to follow the lead of that lady. I think they're meeting her out there, and I think they've already met her out there, right? The show over there on ATV and raking, walking in the woods. Yeah, I know. There's just something not right that's going on. With Malaya's behavior, Daniel's behavior, Janie's behavior, something definitely happened, in my opinion. But it doesn't seem like the RCMP believes it or could prove it, maybe. And so is trying to tone it down as much as possible so they can get people to open up. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go from here, in all honesty. I just don't know.
They even pumped a septic system and searched the contents from that septic system. They also collected and viewed thousands of hours of video footage from private cameras from businesses, school buses, dash cams within a 5-mile radius of the children's home. They followed up on at least 670 tips. They interviewed those who had contact with Lily and Jack and who knew the family, dozens of people, and they also conducted a massive search of the property, the forest, and the lakes surrounding their home.
So you're talking about a massive amount of work. Matt just listed down a massive amount of work that all of these investigators have done. Now, remember, they're the ones that told the public this whole abduction theory didn't exist. And I'd have to think that law enforcement at the time had some semblance of truth when they made that statement. They had, in my opinion, had to have made some type of finding to believe the children weren't there. It seems like they don't believe that this woman in this gold color car is significant. But if she's picking up children at 10 o'clock in the morning, I just don't see how nobody has anything on their camera of a gold car anywhere out there. Remember, they got some cameras going in and going out. I don't know. Sad. We just close and move on. I mean, you can only take it so far, but I don't, it's hard because I'm getting so sick of this integrity of investigation. Sometimes I truly think that they do this just so they don't want the public's help, right? And it's like, I get that they don't want the public's help, but at what point are you going to keep sandbagging your own case before you start dripping some information out to the public for them to help? It's ridiculous. I still can't help but to think about Janie's dog that is missing. I mean, what more can they do? Just 2 more kids lost in the crack that CPS failed, and they did. Even out in Canada, they failed. The Department of Children and Family Services, I don't know if they're really, for all the money being pushed to them, I don't know if they're as effective as the amount of money we're pushing toward the initiative. And I'm starting to believe that just like the U.S. Department of Education, it's just another department, another federal department to gunk up the money, take half of the money, and mismanage half of the money. I just wish they would do what they're doing with the school boards and stuff like that, and just start sending the funds directly to the states without the middleman, and let the states start being able to use that money to do things with. Build housing or I don't know. I don't know. I'm just frustrated. I don't believe Janie knows anything myself. I think Malaya knows. Here's where I'm at with that. Summer 800 TBI find. This is my issue with it. Janie knew what she was saying wasn't true. She knew she was lying for somebody. I mean, she may not, I don't believe she knows what happened or who's responsible, but she knows that morning didn't happen the way she's saying it happened, in my opinion. That she knows. And she knows she's having to manipulate information. And anybody that is asked to do that or does that, there's a reason for it. And it's not because they don't know anything. They may not know the specifics, but they know something's up. I can ask just about every parent. Your child walks in and has a funny look on their face. You may not know what's up, but you know something is. I'm sorry. You guys know, okay? My mom always knew. I don't know how she knew. She was always in the house cleaning, but I came in. She always knew I was up to something no good. Maybe because I was always up to something no good, and she just flipped the coin and just assumed I was up to something no good to see what my reaction would be, to see if she caught me or not. I don't know. But I do believe Malaya knows, or, she would have had to know how Daniel treated those kids. She would have had to know that he wasn't treating. Not only that, I was having a conversation with one of our subscribers here, and this particular subscriber was talking about how, well put the kids were. How they were always in such cute outfits, and I had to remind that person, yeah, but that was before they met Malaya. If you guys remember the two of them on the four-wheeler, like they had all these cute pictures with the cute outfits, the colorful outfits, like the ones here, the school outfits and stuff like that. We always had these photos of these kids and just in style. Well, when she got with Daniel, the only photo we have of these kids are on the back of a four-wheeler, And quite frankly, Lily's hair is a mess, and they look dirty, and they look like they're in dirty clothes. And I had never seen them in that appearance out of all the videos and photos that Malaya had up on her channel that she's removed, and pretty much doesn't advocate for her children either. And again, these are red flags to me. These are the same things that we look at Sebastian's mom and stepfather for the same kind of crap, right? Always running to the camera, talking about me, never looking, never being a part of any vigil, never, and then hiding, duck bobbing and weaving. I'm sorry, you can tell me a lot of things in a report from law enforcement, and I'm sorry, sometimes I just don't believe law enforcement thinks the way that the true crime industry actually thinks. I don't know how they're thinking this thing's going on, but I don't believe that report to be accurate. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think there is foul play. I'm sick and tired of hearing that. The kids haven't been found. So something either happened to them at home or they were abducted. Either way, both times the RCMP has failed to look in that direction, in my opinion. They looked at the parents' direction, but when they say stuff like she was mostly truthful when she answered specific questions, well, they all should be blessed specific questions. What in the world is going on in Canada? I'd like to know. I got questions. I don't want to say, I just don't think it's fully accurate. And maybe that's because it's unknown information, or they're making leaps. Like, they're already concluding that there's no foul play. They don't believe that there's foul play. But what they're putting in that record, that report, in my opinion, is exhibiting the possibility of foul play. They're not above the ground. They're not, you can't find them anywhere. Mom's left. The only thing, really what people are relying on is an inadmissible lie detector test with two subjects that we know utilize substances. I'm not buying it. I got to have something more concrete than that. I'm not buying it.
The RCMP is still standing by the fact that they have no evidence to suggest that there is a criminal element to Lily and Jack's disappearance. They are not thinking that foul play is involved, but they have not ruled it out yet. There's more to this document, but there's a bunch of stuff that's been redacted out of concern that it would interfere with the investigation.
So they've redacted some information. I'm interested because those redacted information probably say something different than what's not redacted. Whereas Summer says, yeah, because Malaya also lived with other people in all those pics she also had. So I'm sure whoever she was living with are the ones that were really taking care of the kids. That's possible. Because it seems like after she had her baby, she just stopped caring. All right, guys. Well, if you guys would like to finish the rest of that, please go over to Matt Thibodeau's site. He has a YouTube channel, but he puts a lot of stuff on TikTok. If you're a TikTok follower, I would recommend you following him. I personally follow him. I share a lot of his content, so if you follow me, you're going to be getting shared content from him anyways. I always am sharing his content. I love his content. And I like how he explains it and how he does his stuff. It's a lot different than the way I do things, but he's always accurate. Not only that, I rely on him. There's a lot of stuff that I don't pick up that I can go to Matt's channel and just look through. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't catch this. I missed this. All right, guys, we're going to go on to our major topic. Did DA Hestrin lie to the public? Yeah, I think he did. So DA Hestrin, let me get to, I think I missed it. Let's get here. Let's see if we've got the press conference. Hold on, let's do. Okay, let's see what we can find. We're going to try to find the press conference because I kind of want you to hear from the guy. I want you to hear from the big cheddar, the big cheese, if you will, please. Okay, we'll go right to the DA's office where they made sure they put the whole thing here. They're so proud of, shaming. Let's listen to this. So here's DA. All right. Get this back up. I wouldn't want you guys not knowing what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I'd hate for that to happen. So I think what we need to do is just remind ourselves of the statements that came out of his mouth. You know me, I just, I don't know. I feel like it's just not the same unless you actually hear it coming from their pie hole. So let's go ahead. Now, DA Hestrin and Chad Bianco, this is exactly why you don't piss off social media. It always comes back and burns you right slap in your kissers. Okay? I don't like people lying to my face. I don't like people saying, oh my God, I can't believe they let him go. They need to be tougher on crime. Okay, so Mike didn't actually sound like that. He kind of sounded like this.
Smith, and then myself. So someone who's not here, I want to thank as well, or introduce as well, Jason Anderson, San Bernardino County District Attorney.
Okay.
And so there's a lot that we can't say in terms of the facts and the evidence. For that, you will have to come to the court and to the various hearings and see how the case plays out. However, having said that, it's appropriate to have a press conference because it was the defendants in this case that had a press conference first.
Okay, so now that we know that they're sitting there and having a peeing contest with criminals. All right, so I'm not going to sit here and dog them too much. I think I've already run the bus over both. I haven't really ran over the DA. I ran over Chad Bianco because he was the little tough guy, right? He was the tough guy. Okay, I'm a little tough guy too, Chad Bianco. But he wanted to be the tough guy. This guy wanted to just be he wanted to white knight it. I'm here to save the case, right? Shame on California. You SOBs, you let this SOB out to hurt another child. Damn you, California. Okay, he didn't sound like that either. Let's see how he did sound. Where is it? I might have to go to the transcript to find the actual spot. Judge, find. I remember him saying judge. So we'll find the judge. Okay, I think it's a little bit down here. Ah, look at that. Thank goodness for transcripts. Thank goodness for transcripts. I don't have to listen to all the bull crap. All right, so let's get up here, and we're talking about, okay, let's get up here. Daddy, actually, I noticed the arrest records, murder charges, both Jake and Haro, interference. Where does he start going into all of that? It's right here. I think it might be here. We'll try it here, and then we'll listen.
In reference to what Chad was talking about, but can you go into some detail about that case in 2023 and what happened there?
Sure.
From my understanding, was a defendant setting.
Yes, I will. So in 2018, Jake Haro with his ex-wife, there's another child who they were prosecuted for child abuse as well, child neglect, cruelty. That child was also an infant, and that came to the courts, arrested in 2018. It came in to the courts in 2023. We had charged various felony crimes, child abuse, child cruelty, and our indication or what we wanted out of the case was prison. We believed it was a prison case and that Jake Haro should have gone to prison. Jake Haro pled straight up to the court, which sometimes reporters get this wrong, and you call it a plea bargain. Judges are not allowed to plea bargain. Defendants can plea bargain with the prosecutor, but when a defendant pleads up to the court, they plead to everything that they've been charged with, and they're essentially throwing themselves on the mercy of the court. In this case, a judge here in Riverside County, happened to have been a visiting judge from San Bernardino County, gave Mr. Haro a suspended sentence, which means, if I can translate for you what that is, it means that instead of sending him to prison, he chose to give him probation and suspend prison time sort of over his head, meaning that if he violated his probation, he would then go to prison. My prosecutor in the courtroom objected to that and said on the record, we object. We think it's a prison case. You should send him to prison. And the judge decided, as is the judge's right to do in that case, he decided that Mr. Haro deserved an extra break and gave him probation and basically 180 days of work release, which ends up being like community service. I will say that it was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not attacking the judge personally. That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today. And that's a shame, and it's an outrage. And I hate to say that, but when our criminal justice system breaks down, I'm going to just call it like it is and tell you it broke down. It's not how it's supposed to work.
Oh, not how it's supposed to work. Oh, and you had nothing to do with that, did you? Just pass the buck. It's the judge. Nothing to do with that, D.A. Hestrin. Nothing whatsoever to do with the fact that Jake was out to murder this child. You had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. What would you say to me if I said, this guy here, I believe, right here, and I'm pretty sure he's going to say that Mike Hestrin is the one that actually dropped the ball. Did the courts give him a lousy sentence? Of course they did, right? No, that's not the judge. No. This is somebody else. This is somebody else fact-checking. So we're going to listen to this, because this is going to be put right back on D.A. Hestrin's lap. You wanted to shame everybody, including social media, but failed to take responsibility for your own actions, D.A. Mike Hestrin. Well, here's a dose of Bullhorn Betty. Here's a dose of Bullhorn Betty. And I'm pretty sure if you hated social media before, you are definitely going to be hating social media now.
District Attorney Mike Hestrin blasted a judge for granting probation to Jake Haro in a prior child abuse case. But Jake Haro wasn't out on probation when he allegedly murdered baby Emmanuel. He was out on bail. His probation had been...
What? So you mean to tell me he wasn't out on that sweetheart deal? He wasn't out on the sweetheart deal? I thought it was all the judge's fault that he was out walking the streets. It wasn't. It was Mike's. Listen, folks, I'm going to shut up. It's another 20 seconds. I can shut up for 20 more seconds. 19 seconds to be exact. I'm pretty sure I can shut my mouth for 19 more seconds to let this man speak.
Out on probation when he allegedly murdered baby Emmanuel. He was out on bail. His probation had been revoked. D.A. Hestrin's office didn't object to him being out on bail and didn't object to multiple continuances of the matter. It was during one of those continuances that Jake Haro allegedly murdered baby Emmanuel.
What?
District Attorney Mike Hestrin blasted a judge for granting probation to Jake Haro in a prior child abuse case. But Jake Haro wasn't out on probation when he allegedly murdered baby Emmanuel. He was out on bail. His probation had been revoked. D.A. Hestrin's office didn't object to him being out on bail and didn't object to multiple continuances of the matter. It was during one of those continuances that Jake Haro allegedly murdered baby Emmanuel.
Oh, a continuance that your office allowed. Well, Mike, you know what? what? Here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, I have to accept responsibility, right? And actually did. It just like at the beginning of the show, nobody knew that I made a mistake in my analysis of Giovanni Pelletier here in Florida. Only I knew I made a mistake in the analysis, but I let my audience know. Why? Because I take accountability, and I want them to know that I make mistakes, right? I don't sit here and go and criticize all these people when I can't take my own accountability, and I can't take accountability. I always take accountability, right? I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. But to get up on national stage, shame everybody from the judge to the state to social media when you didn't want to tell your dirt that it was you in your office that let this animal out. It's both your fault and the judge's fault. Mike Hestrin is the reason why he should have been in jail. He violated probation in 2024. That man should have been sitting in jail until his VOP was resolved. And it was Mike's office. Mike Hestrin, the man that wants to shame us along with Chad Bianco. Mr. I want to be governor. You ain't got a chance. And this right here, when the people find out that you misled them, you could have said, look, I had an opportunity to put him in jail, and it was my fault too. I contributed to some of this, and I'm sorry. And for that, I will make sure this never happens again. That the people would have appreciated. That the people would have given you respect. Some people would have been like, F you. So what? It's better than having the entire social media world down your throat, and now we find out you and your office is the reason this child's gone? Get the hell out of here, dude. I ain't got time for this.
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
Because I'm starting to think that
You're a liar.
just saying. And it really does me right off. So, the plot thickens. Why are we here? Did Mike Hestrin unalive this child? No. Is Smiley in here? Well, hello, my love. Did I just hear somebody say hi to Smiley? I don't see you. There you are. Oops, wrong one. I see ya. I see ya. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. If you guys haven't been over to Smiley's World, get over there, sub her up. Yeah, but you know what? This is what really rubs me the... And I wish for sure, like, this came across my feed last night, and I'm like, okay, somebody's going to pick this up and run with this. This is some good stuff here. Somebody's going to pick this up and run with this. And I went on, I went on some of the YouTube channels here, and I didn't see anybody talking about this. And I thought that this was freaking huge, because we're all gunning for this judge, which, I'm sorry, the judge was wrong. You're looking at a baby, a 10-week-old baby that is ruined for the rest of their life, and you think 180 days? What, you think the several times he beat a 10-week-old baby wasn't enough? You think that it was somehow a mistake? That child was in that condition? Like, who thinks that? Multiple fractures in various stages of healing. That judge knew that there was multiple accounts to that 10-week-old child. 10-week-old. 10-week-old. I'm fuming. And from this guy, of all people, to come here and shame the world and act like he's the savior, and to come find out he's only trying to cover up his own skeletons in his closet related to this case, hoping he's going to go unscathed. It's the whole blessed system. And you're part of it, Mike. Mike Hestrin, D.A. Mike Hestrin, you're part of that. You're part of that. You contributed to why this child is gone and tried to pass the buck. Take some damn responsibility for yourself, sir. The rest of America does, right? It's so funny. These people are the ones handing down these horrible decisions and then passing it off like, oh, it wasn't me. Yeah, well, this one was. Multiple continuances. You had the ability to throw his ass in jail and get him off the streets, and you chose to keep him out. And then blame a judge from several years ago. What about your actions recently, since 2024? The ball was in this man's court. Not that one. This one. This man's court. The ball is in his court. And he chose to leave multiple times. He had multiple opportunities to arrest Jake Haro. Multiple opportunities. So, did DA Hestrin lie to us about that? You bet your ass he did. So what else did this man lie to us about? For those that are just tuning in, I'll play it for you guys again. You guys see Mike Hestrin over here. I don't know who this guy is over here, but apparently he's outside of that court and knows a lot more than Bullhorn Betty. Okay, that's what I know. So let's listen to what he has to say, because he dropped the mic. This man just dropped the mic.
District Attorney Mike Hestrin blasted a judge for granting probation to Jake Haro in a prior child abuse case. But Jake Haro wasn't out on probation when he allegedly murdered baby Emmanuel. He was out on bail. His probation had been revoked. DA Hestrin's office didn't object to him being out on bail and didn't object to multiple continuances of the matter. It was during...
Where's the tough on crime going in there and saying, look, Your Honor, he got a sweetheart deal. He beat a 10-week-old child into basically a coma, almost lost her life. I think that now that he violated with guns and drugs, we should probably, it seems like he's escalating a little bit, Your Honor. Maybe we should probably hold him over until he gets an opportunity to stand before the court, just to make sure the community's safe. Even if the judge objected and overrode him, at least he had that on the record. But no, continuance after continuance after continuance after continuance after continuance. And then he comes up and says that he's out on this sweetheart deal from this judge, never telling us that he's actually, that deal was revoked and he's actually out on bond, and his office allowed him to be out on bond without any objection whatsoever for the record. Great job, Mike. Great job. Great job. So let's just go back. Just go back and listen to what this guy said. We won't go up. Let's listen.
Would have done, Emmanuel would be alive today.
And
that's a shame. Time that this crime happened, and if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today.
Are you sure about that, Mike? Still don't want to say anything. Interesting. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, guys, that's what I had. That's the bombshell. I apologize for having technical issues. I don't know what was going on here, but we kind of got started off at a great spot. Then everything fell apart on the show. The show literally came to a screeching halt because of internet issues here. And then we kind of got back on track. And when we got back on track, it came with a bunch of gunk. And I got a big old fly. I've never seen a fly quite that big before on my computer. That sucker was like this freaking big. And it just landed on my computer. I did not know I had a fly in the house. I have a fly, officially a big old cat of a fly flying around my house right now. So, anyways, it kind of pushed our show a little bit longer than I had anticipated. I wasn't planning on being on here this long. As many of you guys know, my mom's going to be going into surgery. Damn thing's back. Like, I want to grab its wing. I want to be the Miyagi man. You guys would not believe me how big this damn fly is that is in my house. I can see its eyes, its wings, and its body. It's a big stinking fly. It's not a mosquito. It's a fly. I don't know where the fly came from. Yes, I do. I kept the door open, calling Delilah to get in the house, and she lollygagged. That's how I get flies in the house. It's a horse. What the hell do I have a horse fly in my house for? There's no country out here. There's no horses out here. I mean, I got some chickens and stuff across the street, but we got no horses, no cows. We got no livestock around. Do we have livestock around here? I don't think we're allowed to have well, we are in the city or the county limits. This fly is definitely big. I'm gonna have to get my fly swatter. Keep fly swatter with me. I don't like flies in the house. Because you know, as soon as you leave like a sandwich out or something out, you go to pick it up and there's a big freaking fly on it, and you're not gonna eat it after you, because you don't know what the fly did to your food. Did he throw up on it? Did he poop on it? I don't know. I'm not trying to eat it. I'm not trying to find out. All I know. If I see a fly in my stuff, it goes in the garbage. I don't know about you, but that's just how I am. I'm from the country. We have horse flies. Yeah, but you know, we're from the country too, but my mom always made sure that our food was fly free. I'm just saying. It's still just hanging out. I keep wondering. It's so big. I wonder, what is it? Have an electronic fly swatter. Oh, my best friend does. My best friend does have one. Yeah. So let's just go back just an ever so little bit so you guys can hear how shameful the judge was. I mean, you know, would hate for anybody to think it was him.
An outrageous.
He had an opportunity to put this guy in jail for violation of probation. This guy right here. He had an opportunity to put Jake in jail, and he chose not to. Everybody failed this child. It wasn't just a singular person. It wasn't just a singular judge. It was the whole blessed system. Okay? His name is, I put him up. We went over him. Moore? Something Moore? I think I showed his face yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before.
An outrageous error in judgment by this judge. And
no outrageous error in his judgment, just the judge's judgment for the case, because that's what we all knew. We knew that the judge gave him a sweetheart deal, and we knew he had the charges from 2024, and many of us questioned, why is he out of jail if he has violation of probation charges in 2024? These are not big cases that should take months to get before, like, you got 180 days. This man was arrested over, why are we continuing this crap? Why do they keep wasting taxpayer time, money, and resources continuing crap that they need to go forward with? Mike is as much in the swamp out here in California as that judge that gave that Dwight W. Moore. The same Yahoo, but he's in the same swamp. He's as swampy as the judge that gave this man the sweetheart deal. And then he comes up here and takes no self or personal responsibility for his part in all of this. Just passing the buck. We're not going to let you get away. That's courtesy of social media. Thank you, Mike Hestrin. Just saying. Just saying. All right, guys, that's really all I have for my show today. I know it's kind of short. We've been kind of hanging out a little bit longer, but I've been dealing with some stuff here. I'm preparing for my mom. I'm still trying to get my house organized, still trying to get all the food that needs to be eaten before I go stay at my mom's for a week taken care of. And so I'm going to be hit and miss. I haven't been giving you guys an evening show. I'm not really sure why I haven't, because all this stuff I could have ran the show last night and had you guys a nice, pretty show with additional stuff this morning, but sometimes this stuff gets to me, and sometimes I got to take a break and change the station myself every now and again. So when I get like that, I just kind of slow down on production and, you know, get some stuff together. We have some stuff coming in from our audience related to... oh, good gracious, Elizabeth Tillery, but her first name, I forgot her first name. Casey Elizabeth Tillery, I think it is. And we're going to be trying to look into that because that's in Jacksonville, Florida. And several of you guys sent me some information. Well, Alicia, yeah, she's got a cat. I think when she gets her done with her surgery, I'm gonna have to keep all the animals out because I'm very picky about sterile environments. As long as I know she's doing well and we have a sterile environment. I even I called my mom yesterday and told her to make sure because I'm going to be there a week. I would assume that she'd want her sheets replaced. I'm not going to be getting her up and trying to have her show me where sheets and stuff are. You know what I'm saying? So I've got to get over there today or tomorrow, and she's got to show me where like food is, where everything is, so I can run the house. I don't know where her cleaning supplies are. I don't know where the vacuum is. I don't know where her sheets are. So I'm making my mom pull all that stuff out so I can change her bed, and have some, stuff that I don't have to bother her with. And she's not going to be able to have, get her sutures and the surgery wet. So I'm going to have to probably take care of, making sure she's healthy, and just clean. So it's going to be, I'm sure, a rough road for her, but I'm going to be going over there for just staying with her, living in the house with my mom for a week. And then after that, I'll be going over there like every other day. I'll start coming in and cooking like a couple days worth of meals and making sure all they have to do is kind of, put it in the microwave and have a decent meal. So, yeah, it'll be good. Betty, you got to visit mom more often. Every child knows where mom's stashes are. Yeah, my mom, she used to stash. I used to know where her stash area was for her cancer sticks. That's what I call them. I'm shaking the cancer stick habit. Actually, I shook the cancer stick habit back in front of Gabby Petito's, but I've been on the vapes forever, and so I don't know if you guys noticed, I haven't been vaping online. It's not because it's because I kind of stopped vaping. And I say kind of stop vaping because I will still take a hit here and there if I feel the need, but I'm on patches. So I have about 3 weeks of step 1, and then I'm going to step 2, and I'll be on step 2 for I think 2 weeks, and then I'll be going to step 1, and I'm hoping that I don't even have to. I'm hoping that the vapes will go. I'm just tired of it, I'm really am. It's not even the money. It's just, I've been doing this stuff for so long. You got to know it's damaging the body. I'm kind of getting, more natural and less chemicals and, just wanting a different lifestyle, just a better one. I'm not going to make myself, I've watched the mob crew struggle and his struggle. I'm not doing that to myself. If I have to go through all that, I would probably be in an insane asylum, so I'm going to try to do it with patches. The majority of the stuff for me was the hands, and that was broken when I went from the cigarettes to the vape. Now I'm trying to get from the vape to the patches, and if need be, I might just do some gum or something like that, if I have a problem. But I have a funny feeling I'm not going to really, once I finally get off to step 1 or step 3, and I'm, done with all the steps and have, weaned myself off the nicotine in my system, I think I'll be fine. I don't drink. I don't, I don't go out. I don't do anything, it's just it's a waste. It's a waste. And I find you can ask the real me too. I get frustrated with myself when I can't find a vape. It's annoying. Like, I annoy the piss out of myself. I will stop the car in the middle of the road to get out to find my vape. So I'm just like, yeah, we need to do something. So I'm gonna, I'm trying the health. I'm trying the healthy stuff. The only chemicals, and this is another thing I didn't notice or I didn't realize. So I get so tired of when you read things. Every vet's like, you can't do this. What do you say, Robin? Patches, gums, pills don't help me. If I want to quit, I just put them down and walk. Some people got it like that. I can't. I am in one miserable part. I remember being out in front of Gabby Petito's house, and I'm trying to quit smoking. I'm trying to go to these damn vapes. Everybody's around us. I had to constantly get up because we had all the news crews and everything around us. I always had to get up and walk a half a mile away just to smoke a cigarette out there, because we don't want it on camera. You don't want to, fumigate everybody around you, And so I went to the vape, and I remember being out there, and I was just a bear. I mean, a bear. Jonathan couldn't look at me or say anything at me that I was not ready to tear his blessed his head off. And I remember him just looking at me. He's like, at this flipping point, I don't give a bleep if you go back to the cigarettes. Go smoke a bleeping cigarette if you have to. Just shut the fuck up. I'm like, was I really that crabby? Oh no, not at all. So I'm like, I started intaking more of the fluid, maybe to off balance that. But I remember how horrible it was. I remember after suffering for 2 weeks, going through that up and down, and that just anger and vitriol. I remember when I got to that point, I'm like, I am never smoking another stogie again. I'm not doing it. I won't. No, I will never put another one in my mouth. And I knew that because what I went through, I never want to go through again. It was so horrible going from the cigarettes to the vape that I never wanted to do it. If I went back, I would never try to quit again. I had already made it up my mind. It was awful. It was awful. I will not lie. But once I got on the vapes, though, the problem is you never really step down from them, you know? So now I'm with the patch. And the patches so far, it's keeping me balanced. It's allowing me to start training my hands. And I feel like that for the first time I might actually be able to quit and actually quit. So Betty panics when she can't find her vape. I have like several of the fuse. I had the 4 different batteries for the fuse. I always came with the 2 packages of the juice. Then I would have backups of the backups. So I'd have just the regular disposable ones, not the ones that required the things on it. I'd have several of those. So I literally, like, everywhere, because you do not want me without my nicotine. I'm a bear. And I don't like being like that. And you know what that's from? It's from me being on nicotine. I would never have nicotine withdrawals if I never introduced nicotine in my body to begin with. And that's truly a shame. So I'm happy. When she has 5 vapes but can't That's about it. That's about it. She really cusses a lot more when she loses her vape. Yep. Cracking up. It's not better than cracking up. But yeah, patients have latex. I know that they have chemicals in them, but I don't really care. Of all the chemicals I've pumped into my body over the last 30 years, this is one chemical I'm ready to pump in my body just to get the rest of the gunk out of it. So whatever it takes, as long as I want, like, 6 weeks, another 5 or 6 weeks, I want to be done. I really do. Awesome. We were trying to do that, but it's so hard when I had setbacks the other day. Yeah, because you go through all the ups and downs, and trust me, life's never going to get better to find an easy time to do it. I can tell you that. I've lived long enough to know there's never a good time to quit, right? It was force-fed down me in front of Gabby Petito's because I was sick of getting up and moving. But, once you kind of get through that stage and then you go to the next one, it's like, I've been in this stage now for 4 years, and I'm tired of it. The whole purpose of going this way was to get off. I wanted to be off, like, by the time Gabby's case was over. And that was over in the end of 2021. And here I sit at the end of 2025, So 4 years. So I think I've done everything I can do. Now it's time to just get it done. So I'm proud that I didn't know Mob Crew was doing it. I just happened to see that he was coming on and saying that he hadn't been on because he's been dealing a lot with the withdrawals and everything else. I couldn't do that to myself. I had already by the time I saw that video, I had already started a week prior to that. I had no idea because I don't really watch I watch Mob Crew here and there, but mostly people send me the clips throughout his channel that have the information I need, so I have no real need to go over to his specific channel to hear, you know, his live, unless I just catch him whenever I'm online, and then I'll just pop in there while I'm live, you know, while I'm here and on the computer. But other than that, I really don't go onto YouTube very much, and I do find that's how I find some other channels, is because it really does depend on my research, you know, that I have going on, and where that research is leading me, because there's certain topics that certain true crime content creators talk about. And every time you kind of search a specific topic related to a specific case, depending on how, you know, certain people title their shows, they pop up. And so that's how I happened to find Strategic Eyes. It was research. I was doing research on the case. It's how I came across a Hidden True Crime podcast with Lauren. I think her name's Lauren, if I'm not mistaken. It was from research I was doing on the Emmanuel case, and I started asking questions, and these people popped up. Never heard of them before, never seen them before, but very thankful that I was able to subscribe to their channel and finally get to hear some different perspectives. And I like those channels because, like, Hidden True Crime podcast, she has like different, you know, psychologists on it, you know, just like Jennifer Coffindaffer. That's one of the reasons why I like Jennifer Coffindaffer's show, is she's a retired FBI. She gets some interviews with some really good professional people that she's worked with, and we kind of get a little insight on what, you know, type of information the FBI might be getting. And, you know, we have a lot of different people on here that show us a lot of different things, from behavioral type of assessments to psychological assessments. Don't forget about Dr. Grande. You know, we have a lot of people that this is where law enforcement misunderstands the true crime genre, because they think we're uneducated and we don't have the types of resources that they have. And while we may not have the specific details of the case, the ignorance of these people to think that we do not have tapped into FBI agents, you know, psychological profilers, you know, body language experts, all the things that law enforcement uses and uses as tools, and has their people that do these things for the FBI or for the state police or for the federal government. We have them here, right here on YouTube, okay? We have them right here on social media. Hell, we even have state prosecutors like that Barker chick, whatever her name is, that wears the colorful hair, from Los Angeles, the Los Angeles DA or whatever her name is. You guys know who I'm talking about? Something E. Barker. And why am I missing her first name for some reason? I'm not sure why I'm forgetting her name. I'm waiting for one of you guys to remind me, because I know you know who Emily. Thank you. I knew you guys. I knew you guys would know who it was. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for it to click up on my side. So Emily Parker, and she used to be the Los Angeles DA. So I mean, this idea that we here on social media, one, aren't professional, two, are ignorant, and have we probably know more. I mean, and it's sad. And this is what maybe what they're nervous about, maybe why they try to dog us, is because we understand these things. We do this stuff every single day, just like they do. We follow all of these trials. In many cases, we're more seasoned because we're focused on the world. We're seeing best practices around the whole entire country, you know, not just in a specific area that like Mike is. Mike is just, he's dealing with his law in his area. We've seen different, you know, law enforcement and procedures and all over the country. We've seen the good, we've seen the bad. This is by far one of the worst cases we've ever touched, where all of these services, all these governmental, state and federal governmental services are involved, and a child still died. And we still are just now putting the people that are responsible for another child almost dying, finally behind bars. And it took us damn near, how many years was that? So we had 2 plus 5, 7 years to get a monster behind bars in California. With all of these failures, I don't want to hear any DA or any sheriff in California School Bullhorn Betty or people like me. Like I said before, I would worry about keeping your side of the street clean first. And quit lying to the people. Mike, you are as much as responsible for why this child is deceased as that judge. And I will not accept anything more or anything less. But before you come and school social media, I would have checked your own baggage at the door first. Just saying. I pray to God that Emmanuel gets justice, but let's not mistake that, Mike is part of the problem as to why we're here. His specific office is part of why we're here. Just a shame. Everybody was failed. Everybody failed. Everybody failed baby Emmanuel Haro. The Department of Children and Family Services, the courts, the law enforcement, every person. From the DA down to every person failed. 2 children. One child was 10 weeks old. One child was 7 months old. And those are who we know about. I guarantee there are more. I guarantee all those people he lived with, how many times did he abuse their children? He's had other people, he had relationships before the 3 wives. What did he do to those kids? What made those women leave him? If you've ever dated Jake Haro or Rebecca, and you would like to tell your story, please consider reaching out to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I know that there are people out there in the area. We just watched one guy last night with Hector's best friend. We've got Ahmed. Ahmed would be willing to take the interview. But I would like to have more interviews of people that dated these 2 people so we can get an insight on who they are as a person. We know Jake is abusive, but to what degree? I would like to see somebody that hasn't put him in jail speak to us about their relationship with him. Because I think we're going to find out. Everybody knew how dangerous this guy was, and nobody said anything. Absolutely anything. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. I hope that everybody that's coming across here clips our conversation about this aspect of the case and start spreading it around, because at the end of the day, I want exposure to what happened and why Emmanuel's dead. And we know that Jake should have never been out to even have Emmanuel, let alone for him to be deceased. And when I have people coming out here and attacking us for doing our job when they're not doing theirs, I've got a big problem with it. So anyways, take it for what you will. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Not sure what time we'll be back, but I'm already going to start preparing for another show right now. I'm not sure what's going to happen throughout this week, because I'm pretty sure we'll do a standard show on the 4th, but I don't know what my schedule is going to be when I'm at my mom's house. I won't be able to bring my equipment to my mom's house, so I'll probably be running off of my smaller computer and my cell phone and a tripod. So it's going to be a little bit of a different configuration for our show. Still going to be the same great show, just in a different format for several days while my mom heals a little bit and I get back here to the studio. I'm not breaking this stuff down. I'm not touching this stuff, okay? It's finally working well. It's working well. We've had very little. I mean, we used to have problems with our show on the daily. It was so frustrating. Now we're having problem-free shows. I'm thankful for it. And just a few little technical issues here and there, but for the most part, it's been produced well. I've been looking at it. The quality of the image on the screens, the big screens and everything is much, much, much better. And I'm just really, really happy that we finally found like a little home. Now, What am I going to do when I'm out in the field? When I'm out in the field, I'm just going to be running straight YouTube. I won't be going through a service at all unless I'm doing presentation. And even, I don't even know how that's going to be. I may have to reduce our output from here and reduce it down to 480 or 720 when I'm out doing this stuff in the field. But we haven't been in the field for a little bit, so I'm not worried about it until I have to deal with it. But for this next week, we are going to be kind of, I can't give you what time my show's going to be. I can't tell you really anything. I don't know when I'll be live. Once I get situated, with mom and get her, comfortable, then I'll be able to tell, how things are going to progress, at least a day or two, what kind of schedule I can have when my mom's going to be sleeping, when she's going to be up, all those little nuances. So we'll get it figured out, but just bear with me and please support the channel while I'm trying to take care of my mother, because it's just going to be kind of a hot mess express on the Bullhorn Betty channel, but there's nothing I can do about it. That's just kind of where we're at. So, all right, we'll see you soon.